The man stuffs a handful of yellow sand into his mouth, his face twisted in pain and despair. He hasn't eaten a thing in 7 days. Who would have thought that by 2064 nuclear war would turn the entire world into a barren wasteland? The wealthy elites drained the remaining resources, fenced off the drying ocean, and built a city of dreams. It's said resources there are inexhaustible and everyone lives a life of luxury. But in stark contrast, the survivors outside live like cockroaches in the apocalypse, struggling every day amidst starvation and constant conflict. Their greatest dream is to enter that city. To achieve this, they formed a secret organization called the Liberty Alliance. Recently, scouts noticed the city guards leaving their posts. From a scavenged walkie-talkie, the group intercepted a crucial message. A resident had sneaked out of the City of Dreams carrying a bomb without hesitation. The fugitive was captured by the Alliance. Seeing the bomb squad leader, Cage saw an opportunity. He knew the city sent out armored supply trucks every week. Usually the Alliance couldn't scratch those steel beasts, but now with this bomb in hand, Cage was confident they could pull off a big heist. After confirming the truck's route, he ordered his men to bury the explosive. When the moment was right, he didn't hesitate to press the detonator. A massive explosion sent yellow sand flying into the sky. Even if there were guards left alive inside, they were too shell-shocked to pose any threat. Seeing canned food scattered across the ground, the starving survivors rush forward with reckless desperation. Some can't even help themselves and begin devouring the food on the spot. The Liberty Alliance soldiers seize the moment to spread their propaganda, claiming their mission is to ensure every survivor is fed and that one day they will conquer the City of Dreams. Suddenly, Cage notices something chilling, a time bomb hidden among the food. He immediately screams for everyone to get back. Unfortunately, they are a second too late. A massive fireball erupts. Those poor survivors, just for a single bite of food, ended up paying with their lives. Luckily, Cage is fast enough to escape nursing his injuries. He retreats to the church. This is one of the Liberty Alliance's strongholds. The boy who escaped from the City of Dreams is named Lotto. Cage realizes the boy has a new kind of value. If you could find a way out of the city, does that mean you have a way to sneak back in? But before Lotto can answer, a squad of city guards storms the building. Panic breaks out as everyone scatters. Lotto takes the opportunity to flee the church with Cage in hot pursuit. Without realizing it, they reach an abandoned house. Suddenly, the wall explodes and the force of the blast knocks Cage unconscious. When Cage finally wakes up, Lotto is nowhere to be found. Instead, a homeless man has appeared by his side. He begs Cage for some food for his child, but Cage's eyes widen in terror. The city guards have already tracked them down. He quickly scrambles behind the balcony to hide. The homeless man doesn't run. Instead, he rushes toward the guards, desperately pleading for help. All he gets in return is a cold bullet. With his heart racing, Cage seizes the chance to flee into the next room. Having barely eaten for days, he is famished and desperate. Suddenly, a woman appears trying to scavenge for the same food. In this world, Cage has no room for chivalry or ethics. The two scramble to pry open the tin cans on the shelf. Unfortunately, they are all empty. To secure the very last can, Cage pulls out a stun device and shocks the woman into unconsciousness. Hearing a noise outside, he instinctively hides in a nearby cabinet. Through the cracks, he watches as several guards grin wickedly at the woman. They drag her away. Cage's eyes turn cold and hollow. Her fate is easily imagined. To make matters worse, the can he fought for is also empty. He curses under his breath. Suddenly, a walkie-talkie on the floor crackles to life. Cage catches the word "safe house." Realizing it belonged to the woman, he grabs it and answers. The voice on the other end seems deeply concerned about the girl who was taken. Cage demands the location of the safe house before he'll reveal what happened to her. Guided by the voice, he arrives at an abandoned school. He searches everywhere but finds no sign of a hideout. Just as Cage thinks he's been tricked, a floor panel slowly rises, revealing an underground entrance. Suddenly, gunfire erupts from all sides. With no other choice, he dives into the tunnel. He climbs down a ladder to the lower level and passes through a heavy iron door. A figure appears in the shadows, demanding he hand over everything. Even his clothes. Cage hesitantly complies. Suddenly, clean water pours from above. In this wasteland, it is a priceless luxury. He closes his eyes, greedily soaking in this fountain of life. The water stops, and a frosted glass door slides open. The owner of the safe house finally reveals himself, a man named Tom. He only made Cage bathe because he didn't want him making a mess. Tom asks repeatedly, "Where is my partner Addie?" Cage doesn't answer. Instead, he reaches for a tin can on the table. Unlike before, this one is filled with large chunks of meat. Tom waits patiently. Once Cage has eaten his fill, Tom remarks meaningfully that Addie used to stuff his mouth with food just like that. Cage cannot tell the truth. If Tom knew Addie was dead, Cage would likely be kicked out of this sanctuary. Mouthful of meat, he lies, claiming he met Addie in the slums, but they were separated during a guard raid. After the meal, Tom puts him in a guest bedroom as he feels the soft mattress. Cage feels a rare surge of emotion. He's never slept in a bed this soft in his life. He sleeps until noon the next day. Tom asks for a favor. Go back out and find Addie. But Cage refuses, using his leg injury as an excuse. Human nature is greedy. Once you've tasted luxury, who wants to return to the dirt? Cage begins secretly watching Tom's every move. He notices that except for meals, Tom spends all his time behind a heavy iron door. Even though Cage considers taking over, he can't find an opening to strike, until one day the food portions get smaller. He learns that Addie was the one responsible for scavenging supplies. Now their stock is nearly gone. Cage decides to stop hiding the truth. He tells Tom he saw Addie being dragged away by 3 guards. He's likely dead. Tom shakes his head, unable to accept the reality. Sensing the moment is right, Cage grips his dagger tightly. But unexpectedly, the record player lets out a screeching noise. Tom strikes first. He raises a bone club and smashes it down hard. Only now does the terrifying truth finally surface. From the moment Cage picked up that walkie-talkie, he had stepped right into Tom's carefully laid trap. Using the safe house as bait, he has lured countless greedy souls here to their deaths. Tom pulls out his butcher knife, eager to process this fresh ingredient. Cage wasn't the first victim, and he certainly won't be the last. A woman named Lisa unfortunately becomes Tom's next prey, but this time it's slightly different. Lisa is accompanied by a man, none other than Lotto, the fugitive from the City of Dreams. Tom repeats his old trick, demanding Lisa hand over everything. However, for safety's sake, he only lets one person inside, at first insisting that Lotto must be killed. After all, the safe house supplies cannot support so many people, but Lisa firmly intervenes. She explains that Lotto is a resident of the City of Dreams and knows a secret passage back in. If they hand him over to the Liberty Alliance, there is hope of finally conquering that city. Tom hesitates for a long time, but eventually compromises, even kindly, offering a can of food. Watching Lisa wolf it down, he remarks with a dark meaning that his last guest stuffed his mouth with food in the exact same way. Tom then reveals why he kept Lotto alive. He hates the city people and wants to watch the boy starve to death. Lisa's heart sinks. She thought she had found a savior, but instead she has stumbled upon a twisted psychopath. While Tom sleeps, Lisa creeps to the glass door. She is determined to keep Lotto safe. But in exchange for escape, Lotto must take her to the City of Dreams, the lifelong wish of every survivor outside the walls. The boy agrees to the deal. Unlike Cage, who wanted to take over the safe house, Lisa just wants to get them out alive. While searching for keys, she spots a mark left by Cage. Surprisingly, there is a hidden door behind the cabinet, one Cage never got to explore before Tom killed him. Lisa nervously enters the passage and finds herself in Tom's bedroom, where he is sound asleep on the floor. Terrified but unwilling to miss this chance, she tiptoes around and manages to find a set of keys. She passes the walkie-talkie and diary to Lotto to contact the Alliance. She is about to open the door, but the starving boy begs her to check the storehouse for food first. Lisa agrees they will need supplies to survive. Inside the wall of stacked cans is impressive, but before she can celebrate, she makes a tragic discovery: the cans are all empty. With every empty tin, her despair grows until she reaches the freezer in the back. On the chopping board lie a few pieces of meat. Lisa frantically stuffs them into a tin can, but when she turns around, she makes a horrifying discovery: a plastic bag containing a human torso. Lisa remembers the meat she ate earlier, and her stomach instantly churns. She flees the storehouse in terror, only to run straight into an enraged Tom. In desperation, Lisa slams the heavy iron door shut. Confirming Tom can't get in, she finally catches her breath. Meanwhile, trapped in the glass room, Lotto has managed to make radio contact with the Liberty Alliance, the so-called saviors of the world. Suddenly, a noise comes from the vent. It turns out Lisa, inside the storehouse, has found another escape route. Unfortunately, she's barely halfway through when she encounters Tom's menacing face once again. Terrified, Lisa panics. Her foot slips, and she falls into another room under the dim green light. She sees the floor is covered in skeletons. This is where Tom dumps the bodies. Lisa's legs turn to jelly, and she struggles with all her might to crawl back to the storehouse. Through the keyhole, she sees that Tom has already dragged Lotto out of the glass room. Just as she's agonizing over what to do, a squad of armed men bursts in. The Liberty Alliance soldiers have arrived. Thinking she has found her saviors, Lisa eagerly reveals Lotto's identity and explains that the secret route into the City of Dreams is written in the diary. But shockingly, after hearing this, the leader orders his men to execute Lotto. Looking at Lisa's face of pure disbelief, the leader sneers and declares, "Survivors only need to desire entering the city. If their dreams actually came true, who would ever want to join the Liberty Alliance?" In that moment, Lisa's faith completely shatters. She realizes that the so-called Liberty Alliance is nothing more than a band of villains hiding behind behind a banner of justice. They never intended to save the world. They only use a false vision of hope to manipulate and drive the desperate survivors. While struggling to escape, Lisa accidentally finds the stun gun left behind by Cage. She uses it to knock the leader unconscious, delivering a final heavy blow. To her, people like him don't deserve to live, even in a world that is already broken beyond repair. As Lisa cautiously steps out of the room, she discovers that Tom has managed to kill the remaining soldiers, though he is mortally wounded himself. With his dying breath, Tom begs Lisa to stay and manage the safe house, claiming the supplies left behind could last for months. He never believed in the Alliance or the City of Dreams, convinced that this dark sanctuary was the only true peace left for humanity. But Lisa cannot settle for such a life. Clutching the diary that contains the secret route, she follows her lifelong dream. Guided by the markings, she finally passes through the high walls she has yearned for. The city looks magnificent and grand, but she is left with one haunting question. Is it truly the paradise she imagined? That concludes the story of Post-Apocalyptic 2064. The film feels like two separate stories stitched together, but notably lacks the typical dance sequences, marking a unique shift for an Indian production.